Commitment to NATO is under scrutiny under President Trump. European leaders are meeting in Cyprus to discuss strengthening mutual defense capabilities at the European Union level, focusing on self-sufficiency, that is. Worries about U.S. President Trump's criticism of NATO for failing to back the war with Iran, along with his threats earlier this year to seize Greenland from ally Denmark, have created greater urgency in Europe to define the EU's mutual assistance provisions. The leaders are also meeting in Cyprus to discuss the EU's Article 42.7, which provides mutual assistance in case of an armed attack. European countries, particularly those who think they face the greatest threat from Russia, have stressed that this article can neither compete nor replace NATO. But EU members such as Cyprus, which are not part of NATO, want clarifications about it and assurances from the bloc regarding their security.
There are a number of questions that we need to have an answer. Let's say France triggers Article 42.7. Which countries are going to be the first to respond to the request of the French government? What are the needs of the government or the country that triggers Article 42.7? All those, they are going to be put in a blueprint in order to know when and if a member state triggers Article 42.7 to have an operational plan to put in action.
Cyprus particularly is keen to firm up Article 42.7. This is after a drone struck a British airbase on the island last month during the Iran war. The country, which currently holds the rotating EU Council presidency, is not a member of NATO. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni insists that NATO would remain central to Europe's defense, but that European nations needed to play a bigger role in their own security. The meeting, however, has one conspicuous absence. That is of Hungary's outgoing Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Orban, who will leave office sometime next month, has decided to skip what would have been his last summit. His office says this is due to the handover of power. Most EU leaders are looking forward to turning the page on Orban's era, which has been characterized by near consent, disruption, and opposition, especially when it comes to Ukraine. As EU leaders gather in Cyprus, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to make the case for his country's membership bid once again, which is seen as a post-war security guarantee. Another issue that remains high on the agenda is the West Asia crisis and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, where Iran and the United States have imposed blockades. Europeans have floated the creation of a multinational force to escort commercial ships and demine the narrow waterway. The disruption in Hormuz has sent energy prices soaring across Europe, prompting severe energy crises.